What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lean and Mean Academy. I'm Aaron here, and wanted to talk to you today. I got an awesome message from one of our subscribers, and he had a question about how to deal with property managers, and he has a job basically, and I know maybe some of you guys, I know I've been through this situation where it's a condo complex, okay? And doing all the square footage and figuring it all out, it's going to come out to be a pretty good payday for this young man. And this is one of those things that can really blind you, right? When you start seeing square footage and you start seeing numbers that you've never done before, you start seeing, you know, oh, this is going to be a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 job if I get it, right? And you can start becoming, you know, the Bugs Bunny with the dollar signs in your eyes. And I totally understand it. I totally get that, especially if you're just starting your business and you're just literally probably willing to live there at the property however long it takes to get it done and to get that payday. And you know that it'll be the most money that you've ever made in the time period that it's going to take you, okay? All of these things like don't help the blindness to us whenever we're going into an environment like that, especially if we've never made that amount of money in that amount of time and we don't know anyone personally, or we don't have a family member or a mom or a dad or a brother who makes that kind of money in that period of time. It can become this fantasy land, and it can get you detached and it can get you emotional. And when you're in an emotional place about bidding, you're in a very, very dangerous spot. And not meaning danger like there's a shark coming after you or something. It's dangerous in that you can get into a feedback loop that unless someone brings it to your attention or you kind of snap out of it yourself, you won't get out of. Some guys never get out of the loop. And these are those guys who are still driving around town, you know, 8 years later in a beat up truck. You know, you see he's like the trash guy, he picks up trash, and you know, it's like he does, you know, you can tell he doesn't really have a whole lot, even though he's picking up tons of trash every week. And it becomes this loop of trying to trying to get these jobs. You're just trying to get it. You're trying to get it. And one thing you're going to find, especially when it comes to selling and women, is that if you're not interested, they're interested, okay? And that is simply put the way it has always been. If you begin to qualify yourself to that prospect and tell them about how good you are. Look, the reason they called you anyway is because they saw your stars or they saw your reviews. You came up first or somebody referred you, right? And it very much so depends on who referred you as well. Because if that individual who referred you is a cheap individual and these two people are cheap together, they have a paradigm of cheap, okay? And they know that Janice wouldn't have done the job if it was $20,000 or if it was in a premium level, right? So you're getting kind of a tainted lead early on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, y'all gonna mash that like
Ricky, don't do that.
Like, they gonna mash that like button now.
Rick, YouTube is free, dude.
Man. Like hell it is. This ain't no damn free
YouTube
ride.
is
They
free.
mash that like button. That's a deal.
To get started in the pressure washing business.
What's up, guys? Aaron here with the Lean and Mean Academy. Welcome back.
3, 2, 1.
And that we're trained inside of our minds subconsciously.
Look at that. Number 1. Hey! Hey! What are you doing, man?
But I wanted to make this video for you guys because I thought it was applicable to some of your situations, okay? And before we keep going, for those of you guys who are interested, I just built a free course. Link is in the description. Go ahead and click it. This is called the Web Wisdom Mini Map course. I just built it. I'm going to be adding to it. So there's only like, I don't know, at this point in time when this video is going to be released, there's only a couple videos in there. But what I've seen through my emails and through my messenger on Facebook is that there's a lot of guys out there who don't have websites, and there's a lot of guys out there who have bunk websites, underperforming websites, who are, you know, clinging to them. Okay. And I felt like the reason that this keeps happening in our industry, and shit, it's in landscaping, it's in everything. All right. It's in everything that has to do with lean and mean, truck, you know, like even on up, like the big guys don't have this problem because they've already made the jump. But the guys who are getting started in the game, maybe they're doing a ton of flyers, or they're doing a ton of networking, or they're doing a ton of like commercial, you can do that. But you and I will both agree that having the ability to have a salesman on call, basically, which is what your website is, that's ranking good. It's on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If somebody wants to get online, a property manager wants to get online at 2 a.m., you know, you're not going to be answering the phone at that point in time. At least I hope you wouldn't be. But your website can, okay? And so explaining this importance, everybody agrees that it's important, but I built this Web Wisdom Mini Map course for you guys just to kind of understand what goes in and what you should expect from a web team or a web guy, whoever you're having to do it. It's really about what should be like standard shit that is going to help you rank really well in Google as far as the web build and as far as, you know, the on-page SEO that's going with that. I'm not going to be talking about in this course nothing off-page SEO. Off-page SEO is very important, but the website and the on-page SEO is the first step. So if I'm saying this is the first step to have like a solid situation, think about the guys who are paying $20 to have a website. They're not even before the first step. So even when you take this first step and you get, or you know, find a guy or whoever's going to build your site and maintain it through every algorithm, right? We're going to go into this in the course. Even when you get there, that's still just the first step. So don't think that you've taken steps before if you're having these bunk little sites. You're not even to the starting gate yet, okay? So once you get a real web build, then you're able to launch. Then you're able to even like start to think about competing with the heavy hitters in your area. Before that, dude, you're like, you can do it. You're just going to be stuck handing out flyers or door hangers or BNI, and all these things are great. They just require a lot of you. Okay. Whereas a website that ranks well doesn't. It doesn't really require any of you. You just pick up the phone. And honestly, I like having a website and understanding what happens, understanding the knowledge underneath at least a little bit, right? You need to understand what's going into it, but I like having that because it just constantly provides leads. And I'm getting like I've got like 3 calls today, and it's been slow this month for us, but I don't do any extracurricular marketing. Not that I don't believe in it, but what I did was an experiment here in 2019. I wanted to test, because last year I did a lot of Facebook marketing, and I obviously have my site, which was ranking well, but wasn't ranking like it is now. Like now, we're hitting numbers, analytics right now that I didn't even think my little site was gonna hit. We have like national rankings now for certain terms in certain cities, and I can track all that stuff. But what this course is about is what you should expect from that person, okay? Because think about it. If you don't know what you don't know, you just hire your cousin and let Ricky do it. He built a damn good website now. He built a damn good website. He built the church's website. He can build your website. All right. You get on there and look at the church's website, and it's like, dear Lord, like, I wouldn't come back to this one, right? So this may be what you're dealing with. I just want to kind of level the landscape for everyone as far as like questions that you can ask a web guy when you hire them to say, hey, Are you guys going to do this? Are you guys going to do this? Are you guys going to, update this when this happens? Right? And so you kind of know a little terminology when you're going into that purchase. So you're not, just stuck out in the dark. A lot of us are wandering around in the dark. So click the link in the description. Get that course. It's free, obviously. And I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I'll be adding to it. I'll be adding to it until I'm like basically exhausted on what I think a web guy would actually or should take care of. A web guy is not an off-page SEO guy. Usually they do not coincide together. A web guy is also not usually, sometimes, a social media marketing guy, at least not in depth when it comes to retargeting. They're not usually like a Google retargeting guy. They can be, but usually a web specialist is somebody who just specializes in data structure, specializes in understanding algorithmically what Google is looking for. And we're going to go into all this in the course, so download it. Okay, so back to what we were saying with this property manager, okay? This property manager asked my boy, he sent the bid in, he submitted the bid for the cleaning of these condos. He's blinded by this number, right? He needs this number. He probably needs the money, and I get it. I've been there. This property manager comes back and says, hey, we love what you did on our gutter cleaning. He did the gutter cleaning before. But can you submit us like an hourly rate? And we assume that it's going to be 2 guys with some equipment and supplies. And I'll read you just what this property manager said. I'm not going to read you his name. I'm not going to put him on blast like that. But I just think that this is pertinent. Because he's going to handle it properly, and I know he will. But here is what they said. They're going to pay him for the gutters. As far as the soft wash bid, basically get me an hourly rate. Listen to the tone. For, I assume, 2 guys plus supplies. There's no way to bid this as who knows how many hours it would take. We would want to do all the green sides, meaning algae sides, on all the buildings. Thanks for the great work. If you could email me some business cards, I will get you in contact with more managers. We are always looking for good contractors. Let me ask you a question. If this was an HVAC guy, right? Say the AC's down in the condo office or their building office where they work. You think they're going to be asking that AC guy for an hourly bid, sweating their ass off in July? No, they're not. They're just going to get a bid, a number. And they may get 1, they may get 2, right? Usually on a roof, they're going to get a few. Trickles down. You got to think, priority has a trickle-down effect. Electricity and plumbing and AC all kind of dance in that real high priority. Okay? Somebody doesn't have electricity, it's a problem. Somebody don't have plumbing, that is a problem. Or if it's backing up, going everywhere, that's a problem. Okay? And if somebody doesn't have AC or heat, that is a critical problem for them. Pressure washing is down here. Okay? You've probably seen, starting your business, people who do it every half a year, 6 months. And then you've seen people who do it every... Never. Oh, it's never been done. Can you give me a deal? Right? So, this is a luxury service. While it can be a safety hazard if concrete gets slick, okay, it ain't the toilet backing up into the house, right? That is a high-ticket job that happens now. There's a high-ticket job that happens with that HVAC right now. See, and that's why it's easy to see. We got an HVAC company here in Nashville, a few of them. and they've got probably at least 100 trucks. At least 100 trucks. Okay, so we're going to get back to that property manager, but I want to explain something to you. The reason they have 100 trucks is not because they've been able to scale. They have, yeah. You could somewhat scale a pressure washing business, but simply because of the priority level of the service, okay? Schools, giant Walmarts have to have AC, air conditioning, and heat, okay? They have to have it. So they're able to take these big ass cranes, lift these big, right? All of this work going in, and then the maintenance, okay? All of because we are lazy and we don't like to sweat. Not gonna sweat. People will quit before they start sweating in an office, okay? In the 50s, everybody was sweating. You know, that's why we were thinner. You just sweat by default. Sweating when I eat, sweating when I make love, sweating when I leave the house, sweating when I come back. I always sweat, man. Every day. But this property manager is not going to waste any time calling an HVAC or plumbing. They're not going to ask for an hourly bid. So what this is a signal when they have tone like that, telling you what to do, okay? She said basically, they're basically telling him what to do. When they start thinking they get to dictate, you got a problem, okay? Something has happened along the way that has given them the thought they could talk to you like that, okay? And it just needs a little correction. That's all. It just needs a little correction. How would I handle this property manager who was speaking to me like this? I would say, well, you know, say her name is Janet. It's always Janet. I would call her. I would get her on the line, okay? Because text and email can just become misconstrued, and a lot of times people can't really hear what you're having to say through your words, especially if you're not a good writer, and especially if you don't use good grammar. Dear Lord, sadly, that will lose you the bid, okay? You start typing you, and it's just the letter. Actually, you might be just the person this property manager wants. An employee that they don't have to pay for benefits at your hourly rate. Interesting. So if we can lasso you into this thing and get you on our contractor schedule and dangle the carrot with all the little odd jobs that we never have to pay for your benefits, there is no termination payment or anything like that. It's just like you're working on their terms, you see, for a lot less. This is what, look, if a property manager could get the best company in town to do it for free, they would. Okay? There's some people out there that would do that too, right? Ask yourself, if you're that type of person, would you allow somebody with a bobcat to come clear your property that you're needing cleared for free? If you would, you're the same person. Congratulations. You found your match. That's not how I operate. I'm not interested in him giving me a deal. I don't want no discount. You know why? Because I know that me wanting this discount, me wanting this deal is the same prospect I'm attracting. You're going to attract yourself. You attract what you are, not what you want. Okay? And sometimes people just call and, you know, they want to work you like this. But you got to learn how to work through it. Okay? Look, man, I'm trying to social proof my Google, and daggum, some silly salmons get through. Okay? And we got to figure out how to do it. So here's how I would address this property manager if they were talking to me in this way, asking for an hourly rate. I'd say, well, you know, Janet, I would really like to do that, but this is a premium service, and we have a lot going on here as far as the mitigation of pressure, chemical knowledge, a lot going on. We don't really work on an hourly basis. We're not an employee. We're a contractor. So I'm going to send you over a bid, run it through your team. Okay. Let me know what you guys come up with. I'll follow up with you in a few days. And I just took the ping pong ball. She hit it over here, and I just said, bink. Back in your court, sister. Right? That's it. Okay? So, for you guys who get these types of calls early on, I remember I got a call early on to clean like, 100 townhomes or something insane. And I have my little 4-gallon. And, me, I'm glad I didn't get it because I would have embarrassed myself. I probably would have had to live there for a month to do it. But I didn't get the bid. I probably overbid it, or, sometimes if you way underbid it, they know you're a rookie. And professional people will kind of let you off the hook that way. They'll be like, you came in really low. Are you sure you don't want to go rebid it? Because they've got pros who've hit it in a certain spot and they're kind of in a clump together on their pricing. And you're like way down here. A professional property manager will say that to you. They'll say, hey, look, we got 2 other bids. They're pretty close together. You're really low, right? And that'll be a wake-up call, right? You need to go walk that property again to say, what did I not see, right? That they said I was low. What did I not see? Because if it's the concrete or whatever it is that, there's maybe some dumpster pad. Oh, you wanted all the dumpster pads. Okay, well, I only priced out 1. Yeah, okay, now we understand. Oh, you wanted all the siding. You need to read those emails again. Read the requests again. Make sure you get the requests right. Because if a professional property manager gives you that tip of the hat and says, hey, we'd like for you to rebid, a lot of them, if they're pros, won't try to trap you. They'll give you another shot. And early on, when I was first starting, they had given me some of that. I don't get a whole lot of those types of bids because I'm usually the most expensive. So it is good and bad. Look, if you're wanting to branch out and you're wanting to do mass amounts of this commercial stuff, right? That's the lane you're going to be dipping in. You're going to kind of have to humble yourself a little bit. Residential is a lot more Wild West. It's a lot more relationship. It's a lot more, we like this guy. We trust him. His reviews add up. His site looks amazing, right? We like how he speaks on the phone. We like how he explains his service, what his bid looks like, right? A lot of things, psychological things come into that when it comes to residential. Commercial, some of that stuff does, but like this one, they're just trying to get bids. Lady told me the other day, she was like, I'm literally just trying to get bids. She's like, this guy came in at $975, you were $1,400, and believe me, this house was every bit. Like, I was giving him the wintertime deal. Somebody, and he's a pro here in town, gave him this $975 deal, and I'm like, for the roof, the house, the gutters. I'm like, bro, look, hey, some of these cats, they scraping. They got too much equipment, too much stuff going on, too many employees they're feeding. When you start having to knock stuff down like that, that's another video. But that's how I would address that property manager. If you ever have people try to work you, I'm going to build out a sales course, sales psychology course. It's really what I'm good at. That and SEO, marketing, those 2 things. I'm probably not the best guy at like how to build out a pressure washing rig. I don't build rigs. I could. I'm very mechanically inclined, but it's not something that like really interests me. So marketing and sales and the psychology behind that, and where we're going, where we're going to take our lean and mean business into 2020 is very exciting. And I'm rooting you guys on. And I want to say, look, if you're wanting to understand what should go into your web builds, and who's building it, whoever you got building, look, if you want my team to build it, just reach out to me. I'll connect you with Chris and the team, and he'll set you up on the lean and mean deal. Same package I use. But if you're going to have somebody else build it, that's fine. At least you're going to know what's going on and what you should have going on behind the scenes. And it's where you can kind of hold that little sharp stick of accountability to the person. So they're not just sitting around on their ass and you're like paying and you're like, man, I haven't seen any rankings. I haven't seen anything happen in a year. But he's still working on it, Johnny. He's a good guy. Give him a shot. Like, he's a good guy about to get his ass fired around here. For you guys who have watched all the way to the end of the video, I want to tell you, we got an event coming up in Atlanta. Washathon 2020. It's going to be me, Cody Yarbrough, Jason Guyman, Bobby Walker, and we may have another individual who's going to be there. I'm going to let you guys know a little more on that in the future. When I know some more details, that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned. If you watch this late in the video, mash this thing, mash the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I hope you guys are well. I hope you have an amazing New Year's Eve and an amazing New Year's Day, and y'all get ready to crank out this spring. It's gonna pop off here pretty soon. Let me show you guys something. This GMB is at almost 5,000. Those 1.5s are normal for this time of year for me. But that 4.9, what that's going to look like in probably May, it's probably around 6,000 or 7,000. So stay tuned. Talk soon, guys.